Walk through any college campus or high school hallway, and chances are you're going to see a fair share of students texting, tweeting, or Instagramming. On the contrary, walk through any office with employees over the age of 35 or a senior home, chances are you're not going to see as many instas or tweets, might even see a few flip phones. The generation seen in the high school hallways, college campuses, and even kids younger than this are known as digital natives. The term digital natives refers to the fact that they grew up with technology and therefore are native to it and know how to use it, while the older generation are referred to as digital immigrants. The divide between digital natives and digital immigrants is ever increasing and keeps the two generations distant because of misunderstanding on both ends. The solution to it would be to educate teens on how to use social media effectively, as well as educate the older generations the truth behind social media and the positive effects it can yield. Digital natives are for the most part any individual born after 1980 when computer technology began being used by the average citizen. It was not as common in the 1980s due to the lack of users on technology, but technology advanced rapidly throughout the 90s and into the 2000s where the divide strengthened. Mark Prensky, the man who coined the term digital native, states digital natives are those born into an innate new culture, while the digital immigrants are old world settlers who have lived in the analog age and immigrated to the digital world. While there is scrutiny over whether digital natives are actually natives due to the fact that we are not born with the ability to use technology, we just merely teach ourselves how to use it at a young age, there is definitely a difference of opinion on social media. Digital natives use it on a daily basis, and digital immigrants believe it makes the younger generation antisocial and corrupt as a whole. The argument can go on forever and ever with no real agreement being made and only makes the generations more distant. Digital natives are slowly taking over the population as the number of people with social media and technology in their lives increase. While some may believe that kids are merely expressing themselves a different way than before, there may be more to it than most people think. In Mark Prensky's article, Digital Natives, Digital Immigrants, Part 1, he states how the education system is designed for the older generation that thought differently than the younger generations that have had a large portion of their lives on different forms of technology like television, video games, or the internet. The very way this generation learns and interprets information may be changing while the education continues its old ways. According to a Pew study in 2015, 73% of kids own a smartphone and 92% of teens go online every day. Compared to the number of kids who owned a smartphone in the 1980s, which was 0%, due to the fact that the first smartphone was created in 1992, the landscape of children's technology use has changed drastically. Digital immigrants are the generation born before 1980 due to the lack of technology at the hands of citizens. The term digital immigrant means that younger generation has created a world ran by technology and digital media, and the old generations are forced to migrate into this world full of technology that many of them don't know how to use. According to a Pew study, only 54% of adults aged 50 to 64 have a smartphone, with 65% using social media, and adults aged 65 and up, with only 27% owning a smartphone and 49% using social media. Those numbers being compared to 73% of teens owning a smartphone and 89% of people between the ages of 18 and 29 using social media. Digital immigrants believe technology and social media make the younger generation antisocial, as well as put them at risk to interact in inappropriate behavior. Digital immigrants fear that kids are using the internet for bad things. For example, in the book It's Complicated by Dana Boyd, the 15-year-old who used YouTube asked Boyd to tell his mom he wasn't doing anything bad on the internet, hoping another adult could get through to his mom who shows what parents actually believe. According to the Pew report, half of the parents surveyed said they had used parental controls or other means of blocking, filtering, or monitoring their teens' online activities. This shows the paranoia digital immigrants have about digital natives on the internet. Now, yes, we have a problem on our hand that seems to continue to build against itself, but that doesn't mean that there's not a solution. Our current education system is slowly starting to incorporate technology into the curriculum, but in the wrong way. Education systems are merely giving students technology to learn to use to complete with assignments or create projects, but aren't really helping students learn how to appropriately use them. For example, Living Online Lab is a program designed to help prepare students for the challenges and not just the perils of the digital age. Ruben Louie is the creator of the Living Online Lab, and he's an educator, writer, and communications expert. This is just one way to begin to explain, to educate the youth as well as older generations as to what the digital age is actually all about and how to use it. The problem with altering the classrooms instantaneously is the inability of the older generations to teach something they don't know how to use, as pointed out in Prensky's article. There needs to be a slow but sure change to the education system for both generations to bridge the gap. The divide between digital natives and digital immigrants is ever increasing and keeps the two generations distant because of the lack of understanding on both ends. The digital natives increasingly living inside of the digital world as the digital immigrants watch and try to comprehend why this generation doesn't enjoy the world around them. There needs to be more programs available to not just teach individuals how to use technology, but the reason for using it as well as the proper way to use it to communicate. This won't happen instantaneously, but will take effort from all parties involved in order to successfully bridge the gap.